Hello there, my name is EvanS. Let me take you on an adventure into the creative and weird filmmaking of Terry Gilliam. First, some history. Terrence Vance Gilliam was born in 1940 in Minneapolis, Minnesota. In college, Gilliam worked on a student humor magazine, then after college a national humor magazine, and then as an animator for TV shows. While Gilliam himself might not be a household name, you might recognize the comedy troupe he made with his friends he met over the years. Gilliam was the only American member of the comedy troupe Monty Python. His original role was to make the animated interludes for Monty Python's TV shows, with a few occasional acting cameos. But when Monty Python transferred to movies, he co-directed the infamous Monty Python and the Holy Grail. As Gilliam moved into solo directing, he would be plagued by natural disasters, casting challenges, budget problems, and uncooperative executives, the likes of which have spawned several documentaries. This phenomenon has sometimes been referred to as the Gilliam curse, but despite this he's made a lot of well-regarded films. I will be focusing on 4 of his films today: Brazil, The Fisher King, The Man Who Killed Don Quixote, and Time Bandits. First, some quick summaries of these movies. Brazil. In a dystopian society full of inefficient bureaucracy, a man dissatisfied with his life, Sam, works a boring job but has exciting dreams. An illegal plumber, Harry Tuttle, has accidentally been saved from execution by a bug in the machine, and Harry helps Sam fix a plumbing problem without filling out the paperwork, a cardinal sin in their society. Sam then begins to slowly question the aspects of his society that he had previously been oblivious to. The Fisher King. This is probably the most tragic story. A self-absorbed and inconsiderate radio host, Jack Lucas, makes an insensitive comment to a caller who then later commits a shooting. Jack then gets depressed, loses his job, and the only person looking after him is his girlfriend. Jack tries to commit suicide but is interrupted by an attack. Thankfully, Jack is rescued by a homeless man, Perry, played by Robin Williams, with illusions of being a knight on a quest for the Holy Grail. The radio host then tries to help Perry in whatever way he can when he finds out that he is one of the victims of the aforementioned shooting. The Man Who Killed Don Quixote. Toby, a jaded filmmaker, is dissatisfied with his career choice to direct advertisements, and after an unfortunate series of events finds himself on the run from his producer and the law. Toby is then rescued by an actor from his first student film about Don Quixote, except his actor has taken the original source material too much to heart, and now believes that he is Don Quixote, and that Toby is actually his trusty squire, Sancho Panza. With no other option, Toby runs away with Don Quixote through a variety of absurd scenarios. Speed round. Time Bandits. Kevin, a boy with a dull life who loves history, gets swept into a time-jumping adventure through, well, time, with a group of treasure-hunting dwarves on the run from their boss, the Supreme Being. Gilliam is a director who likes to make movies that often don't give definitive answers to the questions they pose. Personally, I really like being given a puzzle to try and work out as an audience member. I think it's a really engaging and inspiring way to make films. It's always a satisfying experience for me when I'm able to connect the dots and create my own meaning from a film, even when I'm still working out the meaning. For example, I still don't know exactly what the significance of the giant scene from Time Bandits is, but I think it's a really visually cool sequence. Another thing that stands out to me is that Gilliam seems to have a certain affinity for putting medieval knights in his films, but often portrays them as being comical and ridiculous. The Holy Grail was a comedy about knights, The Fisher King had references to knighthood and the quest for the Holy Grail, and Don Quixote is probably one of the most famous novels criticizing knighthood, which Gilliam's film echoes in its own way. Another theme which I really enjoy throughout his films is that it seems to me most of his characters grapple with the battle between fantasy and reality to some degree. In The Fisher King, the battle with reality takes place within Perry. The film never explicitly states it, but my theory is that Perry is grappling with severe post-traumatic stress disorder, and the Red Knight represents his trauma resurfacing. The scene I'm about to play is a great example of Gilliam's creativity in filmmaking. To me, the camera motion, lighting changes, and Robin Williams' performance add up to create a really heartbreaking scene as Perry pleads with the Red Knight for his happiness after a date.
No! No! Please, let me have this. Let me have it! Ah! Ah!
That scene always strikes me as being pretty powerful, and kinda makes me teary. The dramatic fire-breathing Red Knight is also just a really cool visual to show conflict. I'll take a second here to offer a spoiler warning because I'm about to discuss some of the ending material from some of the movies, and I'll put little logos in the bottom corner to help people skip around. Skip ahead to this time if you don't want to know any of the ending material. And if you don't want to skip ahead, that's fine too. These movies are more complex than I could ever summarize. Still here? Okay, on to the endings. In Brazil, Sam has to battle with the horrid facts of reality and is only able to find real enjoyment in his dreams. As the movie trailer so excellently puts it, this movie is about
flights of fantasy and the nightmare of reality.
As Sam becomes more aware of the upside-down world around him, he tries to escape and live out his fantasy, but the world around him is so hostile that he's only able to find real happiness and insanity from torture. An ending that's kinda sad or happy depending on how you look at it. And fun fact, Universal fought Gilliam over his ending, and it was a huge ordeal. In a similar fashion, Toby and the man who killed Don Quixote begins to lose touch with reality throughout the film. As the movie progresses, there are more and more situations in which we, the audience, begin to see a more blurred line between reality and Don Quixote's point of view, until we've come full circle because Toby has become the next Don Quixote, which is another ambiguous ending. Even to some extent in Time Bandits, the movie ends with adults who won't believe the reality Kevin tells them because his explanation seems too absurd. The result being his parents explode because their microwave is filled with pure evil.
Mom! Dad! It's evil! Don't touch it!
That clip is hilarious. Anyway, welcome back if you were avoiding spoilers. In terms of technical style, Gilliam often uses wide-angle lenses, tilts, and low-angle shots throughout his films to give off different feelings. Sometimes a creepy and unsettling look, or to add humor, like in these scenes from Brazil and Time Bandits. He has also sometimes used tilts and wide-angle close-ups to show when a character is feeling intoxicated, confused, or distressed, like in The Fisher King. Gilliam, if you haven't already guessed, also uses a lot of humor in his work, oftentimes black and satirical humor poking fun at institutions and problems in our society. This includes commenting on mental illness among the homeless in The Fisher King, and some of the best examples of Gilliam's humor are in Brazil, such as the office desk that two employees share through a wall and fight over like two brothers sharing a hotel bed fighting over a blanket. Or the way Sam and Harry Tuttle outsmart the Central Service workers by asking for paperwork.
Have you got a 27B stroke 6?
27B stroke 6. 27B stroke 6.
Now look what you've done to him. Well, have you got a 27B stroke 6?
Not as such. We'll get one. All right. It's all right. It's all right.
Sorry, I'm a bit of a stickler for paperwork, you see. I mean, where would we be if we didn't stick to the correct procedures?
We'll be back. We'll be back.
In summary, I think Terry Gilliam has made a lot of creative, humorous, and thought-provoking films with ambiguity for the audience to enjoy. Hopefully this presentation has given you some insight into what I value from Terry Gilliam's filmmaking, and possibly even caught your interest so that you can watch his films to determine your own meaning from them. Thanks for watching. Take care out there, everybody. Goodbye.